Hello, I am roaringbug, and welcome to my Sims 4 speed build. So, if you like my video, please like, subscribe, or leave me a comment. And you can find me on my various social media platforms in the description below. And if you like this build, you can find it off the gallery at roaringbug. It's all one word, and this house is all base game, so anyone can download it. So with that out of the way, I can start talking about the build. So as you saw in my little tour video of my still images in the beginning, this house is based off a model. I'm not really too sure if it's a dollhouse or a model, but I'm pretty sure it's probably a model because I don't think you can put dolls in that model house. And what you're seeing right now is me just doing the bare bones of the house. So if building is new for you, you know, this is basically the meat and bones of the house, which is just mapping out all of the crazy shapes that make the house. So I like to build currently now from the front to the back of the house. And as you're seeing now, I'm in the first stages of roofing this house. When you saw just the bare bones skeletons of this house, just with the first and second floor, it doesn't really look that like much, but it improves when you add roof pieces on it. And what you're seeing right now is I'm adding all of this extra roofing all around the top of the first floor of the build. And I'm just trying to make the house look interesting and cool. And the image of the model had this extra roofing all around the top of the first floor. And I wanted to recreate it in this house. And right now what you're seeing is I'm trying to figure out what the back looks like, and I kind of like add some pieces and delete some pieces because I'm trying to figure out how to make it look good. And this is when I realized that I had to change this skirt I put on the first floor around the house. I don't know the technical term for it, so I'm going to refer to this roofing all around the first floor as a skirt, because it reminds me of a skirt. And I'm using half walls in order to make this balcony. And I realized that this part of the roof kind of stuck out a little bit more, so I'm using so many roof pieces just to make this look good. And for that awkward little corner, I had to put like a half gable piece just to bring it all around. And on the ends of these corners, I put these I cut off the edges so that it looks like a bay window. And yeah, I'm just kind of tucking all the eaves in. I thought I would have it stick out, but when you see it in The Sims, it doesn't really look that good. So, like I said, it's a little bit of trial and error. You just have to play around with the shapes and see if they work. And I like the towers. They kind of give me little witch hat vibes. And I especially like this inserted like gazebo piece right into the porch. I thought that made it look pretty classy. And I'm a fan of like really big entryways, so I turned it into like a three tile wide stairway. Will eventually be in the front. Oh, and this is when I started cutting off the edge of the second floor area to make this bay window. And I added some windows here and there. Frankly, I think this window in base game is probably the most realistic. I've also seen that there's a similar window in High School Years. But I don't have high school years, but I think it's a window that you can use for your sim to like escape and go out. Like your teen sim can like sneak out of the house through that window. And I did this little trick where I added an extra trim on the roof. And you can do that just by putting a flat platform on the roof so that it has somewhere to stick. And I added this like extra porch in the back of the house. But frankly, when I make a build, I just have just one image of the front of the house. And I just kind of figure out what the rest of the house looks like by making it up as I go. So, yeah. In the back porch, what I normally try to figure out is where I'm going to put the door. But I figure I would put the door on the side. And here I'm just figuring out all the doors that go on this whole building. It's basically just two doors, just a double front door and this base game single door. It's the same one all around. And I was messing with the front here because I forgot I wanted to put a chimney here. I don't normally put chimneys in the front of the house, but in the picture it had one, and I wanted to replicate that. And I made this house just all red brick. And I thought that house looked beautiful. I was like, yes, this is a really classy house. Most of the time when I make houses, I don't really intend to play with them because I make, when I do my own gameplay, I use a lot of custom content. And I don't normally try to put houses with custom content on the gallery because it's a lot of work and a lot of trouble to ask somebody to download the exact same custom content that you have, because everyone's game is individual, so you might not have the same custom content unless I list every single one. And frankly, it's kind of a grab bag when you're looking for custom content because it's not all in one place. And if you play on console, you're not going to even have the option to get custom content anyway. So I'm trying to make the house as accessible as possible for everyone. So I made this house completely base game. And, you know, it's actually not so bad because even with the restriction with packs, I find that it's not too hard to make a really nice house as long as you have a pretty good floor plan. Not even a floor plan, just like a really good design. And I think this house kind of proves that because it has a really good design, and like I said, I didn't use any other packs besides base game. And I thought it'd be a really good challenge too, because it's nice to see if you can actually do it. And I think I've come a long way since I first started playing The Sims, because I played over lockdown, and my houses were just these boxes that I just arguably said were modern. But now I'm making like these like Victorian looking things, and I think they look so good. And you're seeing me do the landscaping, and I'm fighting the platform in order to put down those plants. I really don't have to. What I could have done is just put the house back on floor level, put all the plants down, and then raise it back up. But I'm kind of being lazy. So now I'm just putting down a mailbox, and I'm putting down the fence for the backyard. And the yard, I didn't do too many plants. I mainly just put this tile in the backyard. And I just put down my favorite tree, and I put a couple of like plants here and there, like some flowers and stuff, just to make it look a little bit more full. Oh, so all of these plants are debug plants. And for those who don't know, debug it's if you open like the cheats menu, which is part of the game, you could look it up online. You can access all of the window dressing plants that are in the world, because there's a lot of set dressing in the world, and you can use all the plants that you see like all around like the fake houses in The Sims, and they don't have any in-game cost, and they most of the time your Sims don't actually register them as objects, they'll just walk right through them. But I don't anticipate your Sims actually going in the flowers because there's no object for them to like interact with. Most of the time the Sims just go to places that they can actually like access, and mostly that's like a computer. And now I'm just putting down all of the lighting on the outside, so I'm just testing out the lights. I felt I was very systematic when I built this house, so I basically did all of the exterior before I did the interior. And I fixed this tower because I accidentally got rid of one of the walls when I put that platform on the roof. So I fixed it just by putting that piece again, that 8-sided piece, back in place. So now I'm onto the interior. So in the interior, what helps is if you put the stairs down first. So if you're having a hard time doing floor plans, remember stairs always come first, because the stairs will help you figure out what the layout will be in the house. So I'm actually not that great with stairs. It looks like I'm an expert doing the stairway, but that's actually like the 4th stairs that I put down, because it takes a while and it's actually kind of hard to get the stairs to wiggle into the right spot when you're doing a stair that is wraparound. And it's kind of hard to try and get it to be in the right spot. So most of the time when I try to do my floor plans, I think about where is the kitchen and where am I going to put the bathroom, and are they going to have a living room? Living rooms are always optional. If you don't have space for a living room, that's okay if you're going to have a dining room. Sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes you could be like, oh, it doesn't really need a dining room, it really needs a living room. When you're doing gameplay though, your Sims don't really need a dining room, because most of the time you can't really get your Sims to sit in one place all at once at the same time. I think I've only ever had it happen to me once, where I played the game and all of my Sims sat down for a meal at the same time, and it was only for Winterfest. Most of the time your Sims are not going to have meals together. Yeah, so apparently I did the stairs wrong, and I always map them out outside of the house because it's really hard to try and get them to work out. And now I'm just furnishing this foray, and oh, and I found this pergola, which is base game. It looks fancy, but yeah, that's a base game item. So I always put this coat rack, and that is like the best base game fireplace. The other one looks like it belongs in Legoland. And this is the only one that actually has some kind of design to it. And I called this the Ruby Victorian because the red brick. I decided to make the color theme of this house red. So yeah, I changed that wallpaper because I was like, oh, the first one I picked was a little too loud. Oh, and curtains are so weird in The Sims because they're not really necessary, but they make the house look more complete. But not all of the window dressing, like the curtains, actually fit all of the windows. Frankly, for base game, there's only like 2 curtains I ever use. And the best curtains are the ones from the Desert Luxe kit. They are like the absolute best ones because you can layer them. Now I'm furnishing this bathroom. Bathrooms are pretty much the same for all of my builds. But what I really like about the bathrooms is that they added those extra slots. So now there's a slot on the sink for you to put your hand soap dispenser and your toothbrush holder. In the past, if you wanted to put it there, you would have to use the 9 key. I used the 9 key to make this this fancy vanity. So I just used a mirror and I used that base game dresser in order to make my own vanity. And I use like the ignore gameplay cheat in order to get all of the items in the game, because some items in the game are locked behind careers. And I furnished this room for like 2 older kids, like maybe like a child or a teenager. I don't know, I feel like it's more like a teenager room. Because I furnished it like for teenagers, because I put a teddy bear in there and I put this like funky painting and I changed out the wallpaper because I thought that was a little too, I don't know, old lady like. And I put some posters here to try and get that teenage vibe in this room. And I didn't know if they were teenagers or kids, so I just put the nightlight in there. And this room is going to be for an infant. I thought about putting it as a infant and a toddler room, but like it can be. You can fit that stuff in here, but I thought it'd be better if it's just an infant room. So yeah, I didn't put too much in there, just some seating, some decorative stuff, and like a toy chest and a bear. But you can dress it up any way you want. If you have the Growing Together pack, you can have like the changing table in there as well. And for this little gazebo area, I just put 2 seats and a table. So like patio furniture, just a tiny little table and some candles. And some skill building items, because that's always good. So that's the end of my video. Thank you for watching. Bye.